Ladies and gentlemen, today is the State of the Union address by President Joe Biden, but I just want to inform you that the State of the Union is not, in fact, strong. Now, Joe Biden is prepared to deliver the State of the Union address later tonight, so before he has a chance to lie to the American people about what exactly is going on, and while the White House is being surrounded by fences to protect everybody who attends.
Right now, as we speak, Washington is erecting a fence around the Capitol in anticipation of Biden's State of the Union tomorrow. Not a fence around the border, a fence around Biden, who thinks he needs protection from you.
The truth is, the United States is in trouble, and its borders are wide open, and any attempt by law enforcement to subvert this invasion into our country is blocked by our highest courts.
Senate Bill 4 was set to take effect tomorrow, March the 5th, but it had been tied up in courts. The state of Texas filed an emergency stay to have the case reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court. That's why the Supreme Court intervened today to temporarily block SB 4 from taking effect in Texas until at least March 13th.
While our leaders scramble to approve billions of dollars to send overseas to Ukraine, Israel, and other foreign countries.
Let me make it clear. We made the overwhelming sentiment in that meeting is we got to do Ukraine now. And there are other issues, including border, which we should address, but not now.
The problem here in our own country continues to grow out of control, and their apathy towards this issue has caused it to reach a boiling point.
Take a look. A Texas grand jury indicted Rafael Govea Romero. He's accused of attacking 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina by repeatedly hitting her head and stabbing her. Police also say he took her phone after killing her and responded to text messages and used her social media. That led police to believe that he may be targeting other students.
And while they bicker and argue over this problem, official United States agencies are being used for some truly dark things.
I talked to the head of all the border guards down there, the head of the union. I asked him straight up, kids are coming over the border with numbers written on them, phone numbers and addresses. Mm-hmm. Do we check those out? He said, well, we call them. Is it possible that we're sending them into known prostitution rings or sweatshops? He said, it's not possible. It is absolute. We are using American tax dollars to ship children into known prostitution and sweatshops.
These children that are coming in with someone that says, I'm their mother, aunt, uncle, or whatever, we have no way of verifying that.
We do not. We used to. Under President Trump, we had rapid DNA testing. That's been done away with.
Are they given money, these people that are released into the country?
So it's our taxpayers that ultimately facilitate the travel. But yes, travel is facilitated, and they are given all the necessities that they need.
But that could be a trafficker.
There's a very good possibility that they're being trafficked, that they're going into the sex industry, or they're being forced into the sweatshops.
And we know that. We knowingly are spending our tax dollars to sell children into sex trafficking. How under any theory is that okay for us to be spending tax dollars to traffic children?
Now, this is the head guy on the border.
Where is the outcry? Where are the investigations? Where are the Democrats standing up for bodily autonomy? Where is the Me Too movement for these children? But instead of addressing this problem on the border, instead of working towards a solution, instead of acting quickly when it is very obvious that this has reached a point that is completely out of control, our leaders insist on doing the absolute opposite and pass laws that exacerbate this issue and that attract even more illegal migrants into the country.
Governor Kathy Hochul's administration recently agreed to a proposal that could make it easier for migrants to get temporary jobs in state government. Approved earlier this month, the Civil Service Commission is working with agencies to implement the changes, which include dropping typical application requirements like proof of a high school diploma or proficiency in English.
And to add insult to injury, they are using taxpayer money to facilitate this invasion. And while you, the United States citizen, have to work for your necessities while inflation is at an all-time high, these non-citizens are given money and a place to live for simply walking over the border into the United States.
I am a Democrat, but I don't agree with the sanctuary city policies. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is insane. It's not good policy, obviously. A sanctuary city should not mean protecting criminals.
A Democratic New York City Council member slamming the city's handling of the migrant crisis as New York City plans to hand out prepaid credit cards to migrant families. The $53 million going to the migrants is more than double what New York State spends on its veterans.
And then these same leaders whose rhetoric and policies have attracted millions upon millions into this country.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
And the idea of the Lady Liberty in our harbor, which I talked to the young students about, has been the story of New York for 130 years, where people who left religious persecution or left wars, left oppression, and left extreme poverty, like my own grandparents leaving Ireland with nothing, that is what we have always viewed as our responsibility to the rest of the world. But because of that, we are a far better, more enriched, diverse state, and that's a huge point of pride for all New Yorkers. As you know, the Statue of Liberty is inscribed. It says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled young masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse to a teeming shore." And that statement encapsulates our values. We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you.
Have now started shifting the blame onto anyone other than themselves.
The bottom line is the best way to have moved forward on dealing with immigration, dealing with the border challenges that we're seeing, was for Republicans to have gotten out of the way.
The idea that Republicans, in order to win an election, say we need to hermetically seal the border when they know that is economic self-sabotage to the U.S. economy. And they are saying, let's do it anyway. And to compensate for the negative effects, we're going to allow and throw people's kids into factories. That is what they are doing in rolling back child labor laws while being as xenophobic and anti-immigrant as they are. And while ginning up this false narrative about this being a crisis.
The Republicans in the state of New York, and there are 10 of them, they have the power to caucus together, march down to Speaker Johnston's office and say, we demand that you do something about the border, bring it to the floor, and we will support it. Because we are being so affected. We have 175,000 migrants who came here. But our city and its resources are absolutely overwhelmed. We need a break.
While refusing to end the policies that continue to attract these people into our country, our states, and our cities like a giant magnet. And while this problem continues to grow out of control, they use your tax dollars and resources to simply put a Band-Aid on the situation and are literally deploying troops in certain cities to maintain law and order.
I'm redeploying nearly 1,000 members of the New York State Police, MTA Police, and MTA National Guard to conduct bag checks in the city's busiest transits. They'll start seeing them at the tables, making sure that weapons are not being brought in, working in concert with our New York State Police, as well as our NYPD.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what Joe Biden will say tonight, I can promise you right now, the State of the Union is not strong. The State of the Union, in fact, is in chaos, and our leaders are corrupt, incompetent, and quite frankly, stupid.
I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
What's your message for Super Tuesday voters? Everyone, please move this way. Super Tuesday said, do you have a message for voters? Thanks, come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
But what do you guys think? What do you think is going on at the border? What do you think is going on with our leaders who refuse to address this problem and instead just blame everybody else other than themselves? What do you think about what Dr. Phil said is going on at the border? And what do you think Joe Biden is going to say at the State of the Union address tonight? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.